Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. It's supposed to be snowing today, tomorrow. So if you're in like the tri state area, make sure you're safe, travel safely, because it is supposed to snow. So this is basically story time, and this is going to be broken up to two parts, hopefully. So basically, I was supposed to do Cosmopolitan, quote unquote, fashion week show, February 12th. It did not happen. I'll explain why it didn't happen and all that good stuff probably in part two. But part one is just basically going to be the build up and back history. So just know it wasn't my fault why I could not attend the show. The forces were not on my side and didn't want me to attend the show. But anyway, so basically I had to do a theme. My theme was early 90s. If you don't know, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Also, hip hop turns 50 this year. So I definitely wanted to pay homage to hip hop, to Brooklyn, to New York, because that's where I'm from. That's where hip hop started. Also, it the fashion show obviously happened during Black History Month. I am Black. So definitely wanted to pay homage to my culture. I chose the early 90s. Um, Basically, I wanted it to be from my point of view as growing up as a child. I didn't want to do like Freaknik, the late 90s. I didn't want to do like when people do the celebrities. I wanted to basically put a presentation where you can see like Brooklyn, the five boroughs, like what it looked like not on TV, what the 90s looked like not on TV. So that was my theme. I had my music. I chose old music from Old Dirty Bastard and Frank Sinatra because I just did not want to. Basically, what I was going for was like element of surprise, like you're not expecting it. When I do things, I don't like going with the masses. I like to always, go out of my way to be outside of the box. So I chose Old Dirty Bastard. If you didn't know, he's from Brooklyn. Rest in peace, Old Dirty Bastard. So my music mix was between Frank Sinatra and Old Dirty Bastard. Basically, I was going for something like very elegant and sweet and nice, and then it just became really gritty. So that is like a little backstory of the nails. So I was Googling how to do curve press on nails because my mom and my aunts used to go to them with the nail salon all the time, and they would get these curved nails. I remember being in the nail shop with them, and like sometimes the owner, I would like sit and stare at them while they did like display nails, and then sometimes they would give me the nails to like play around with because I'm a kid, probably got antsy. So, I do remember that. So I just wanted like to get that feel because when you're watching music videos, you feel the 90s, but to me it's like you don't really understand the 90s like until you like go on the side streets, like not the main street, go on the side streets. But anyway, so basically I glued these nail tips together, and so to make sure that they didn't break, if I was to do the show, I went on the underside with base coat and cured them. So this process took 33 minutes 43 seconds to be exact. And this is just one hand, and this is just one day of work. The whole total design and the nails took me 2 weeks to do, including mistakes and all. So we're gonna get into how I found out about this and all the craziness that happened leading up to why I didn't do the show. Okay, so if you guys remember, if you follow me on Instagram, I had the opportunity to go to a high school in New York and speak to some students. Basically, someone I met Fashion Week of, and the Fashion Week I did in September in 2022. We follow each other on Instagram, so she hit me up. She was like, "Hey, I was wondering if you would like to come in and talk to my students about what you do." So I was like, yeah, sure. So we got to talking. We found out we're both Libras. Um, I told her, ever since I was younger, I always liked to give back, and I wanted to, own a performing arts school and have basically like programs where I give back to the community and help kids like learn life skills that I pretty much wasn't awarded when I was younger. But anyway, so I went to the high school to speak to them. I did show some footage on Instagram. I have a lot more footage, so if you guys want to see that, just let me know, because I have so much content. As I was saying in the last video, there's so much stuff that I have. It's just on my hard drive because I time management and trying to figure out how to get it out. But anyway, so when I went to speak to the students, she was just like, hey, Cosmopolitan reached out to me and I'm gonna be working with them. So I'm gonna mention you because you do nails. Would you be interested? So I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, of course, because I used to read Cosmopolitan, the teen Cosmopolitan, and I had like the subscription, and then I just reinstated my subscription. So I was like, oh shoot, this is like full circle. Like, hell yeah, let's go for it. So I'm not sure when she told me about it that she mentioned that this was the first time with her working with them. I don't remember her saying that. If she did, then that's on me, because I pretty much probably heard Cosmopolitan and then everything else sounded like womp 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 womp. So later down the line, she did tell me like, yo, this is the first time I work with them. If I probably was a little more focused and heard correctly, if she mentioned it, that this was the first time working with them, I probably wouldn't have, you know, basically went through the process. I probably would have been like, let me see what you dealt with and then I'll go forward. But anyway, so this is in November that I went to speak to the students. This is early November, and I want to say maybe a couple of weeks after that, probably like around maybe right before Thanksgiving, she announced on Instagram that she was like the official makeup sponsor, or just a makeup sponsor. She made like an official announcement. So, and then in that announcement, she basically was like, if you want to be a part of this, reach out to them, blah, 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 blah. So, mind you, I haven't really talked to her since I went to speak to the students. So I kind of figured like, okay, this is the green light to reach out to them and talk to them. So I reached out to them, I talked to them, and what I was noticing was that I was, sidebar, I was, emailing different fashion show organizers, and they were not thinking about nails. I'm not saying nails is not a part of Fashion Week, but when I did reach out to certain fashion organizers, they were like, oh, we didn't think about nails, but yeah, why don't you come on board? We can't pay you, but you can get your resume up, you can see if a model wants nails, and just network. So this was kind of like the same thing. So they were like, oh yeah, I introduced myself. I showed them some of my work. I let them know that I did Fashion Week previously and that these were some of the nail sets. And here's a little softer, like softer looks, because the nail sets that I did for Fashion Week in September were a lot. So, I do have something a little calmer, a little softer. So, yeah, they were like, oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll send you an email. So, give us your email address. We'll send you an email with a package. Now, when I did Fashion Week in September, by the time I came on board, it was like the last 2 weeks. So I don't know nothing about like no packages, no brand packages or whatever. I basically just came on and you're gonna, do nails. I can't pay you, and advertise yourself and network. So this was kind of giving that same thing, but it's just like, okay, being that this is early on, I'm gonna learn new terms. Once again, I don't do Fashion Week. This is all new to me. So they're like, we're gonna send you an email with the package, and it's gonna have all the information. You're gonna have to make a deposit, and then by a certain time, we need the money paid in full. Once again, my head in the clouds. I'm not really processing what's going on. So obviously, I'm taking full accountability. Like, Me, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. And if I don't feel like I'm wrong, but somebody be like, yo, Khaleesi, you're dead ass wrong, I'm gonna feel away, obviously, but I'll take it into consideration and think about it, and then I'll come back and be like, you know what, I was wrong, my bad, I apologize. But anyway, so they're like, oh, we're gonna send you this package. So they send me an email with a package, and in that email there is packages basically for hair, makeup, and then there's a manicure package, and then there's a brand package, and in all these packages is different things that you can get as you do a presentation. Once again, I'm still not realizing and understanding what's going on. So basically, if you do hair, you do makeup, you can do a presentation. Within the amount that you pay for, you get advertising, which is, they're going to promote you on social media. You're going to get a professional model that they're going to provide for you. They are going to provide hair and makeup, and you're going to basically be able to network with people who are VIP and whoever else that they bring. You're also going to get an interview, and you're supposed to, well, later on, because that package wound up changing, later on, you're supposed to get like an excerpt in the magazine. So, or some type of booklet or whatever. So, I let them know that I received the package, and the package for a manicurist is $600. I can't afford $600. Didn't even like mention it to my husband at first because I'm just like, that's a lot. Try again next year. So, they wound up emailing me back and like, hey, sorry, we made a mistake. We'll send you the correct package email. Sorry about that. We'll send you the correct package in a couple of days. So this is when the couple of days started, because that was like their thing. Oh, we made a mistake. We'll send it in a couple of days. We'll send it in a couple of days. If I needed something, it's a couple of days. So, I'm like kind of raised eyebrow, like how y'all, kind of messing up this early on. But I'm like, maybe this is the first time they're doing this. So, give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm looking at myself like, you can't really say what somebody's doing wrong when you don't have a clue about what this industry even consists of. So they sent me the right package. It goes down to 300. I wound up telling my husband like, hey, it's 300, not 600. And so he kind of was like upset, like, regardless of what it was, you should have told me because this is your passion. I want to make sure that, I support you. So shout out to him because he definitely be supporting my dream. So, he's like, find out when you have to make a deposit, how much the deposit is, and get all the information. So I contact them. I'm like, hey, how much is the deposit? What's the minimum? What's the max? How do we send it? So they're telling me, and I'm saying there because I don't know who's behind the scenes yet. Still don't know who's behind the scenes. So they're telling me you can put down anything, and when you're ready to put down the deposit, we'll send you the information to send it to. The putting down any amount was kind of like, what? Like, you want me to put down anything? So I could basically put down like $1. Not saying that I would, but I was like, anything is anything. I could put down $1 and secure my spot. So the whole, we're not going to give you the information just yet, I understood because, hackers, scammers, whatever, but they turned out to be kind of scammy-ish. So we'll get into that later. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm busting my ass doing these little 10-cent surveys for like 30 minutes trying to come up with this money. So late November, so mind you, this is all in November. So late November, they do like a check-in, like, hey, we just wanted to see if you're still interested in presenting during Fashion Week with us. We will be happy to have you on board, blah, 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 blah. And it's a whole list of things. Oh, you're going to be able to showcase your design in a 3,000 square foot penthouse with 360 views around the city. You're going to get interview. You're going to be able to walk the red carpet. They're going to have a DJ announce you and your brand with your social media. You'll be able to have access to VIP, whoever's in VIP, and talk about your brand and network. And also, you're going to have like, I don't even know if it's like something in a magazine or like some type of program that they have where they're going to talk about you or whatever, and give that. So I'm just like, okay. And then along with it, it's like you're going to have, sorry about the alarms. also it needs to be a theme, and you're responsible for the presentation, but they will provide hair and makeup. And then okay, so back rewind a little bit. Also, when I received that first email about the package or whatever, at the end it was like, if you are a nail artist and you want to work for fashion week, then contact us. And I'm like, well, isn't this what I'm doing? Still not understanding that there's a difference between presenting and then there's a difference between working. So once I finally um basically like understood what was going on, like I got my head out my ass and got my head out the clouds. I finally understood what's going on. I was like, you know what? It is better for me to pay the money to present. This way, my brand gets the spotlight. I really want to try to get myself out there. And, I do like working Fashion Week. This is something that, I see myself doing. So, cool. I'll pay the money. I won't even ask them, like, let me just work behind the scenes. So, anyway, fast forward, we're back to them saying they're saying in this email about the whole package breakdown and when I need to, how much is the deposit. So now everything is very clear. So I'm like, okay, you know what? They got it together. They needed some time. They got it together. And this is after the casting call or whatever. The casting call I didn't go to because my car was in the shop. So I couldn't go to New York for the casting call. So there's a breakdown of everything, how much is the deposit, and then there's bank information where you can send the money to. Cool. So I think the first day, the first deposit was due December 9th, which I did. And then the second deposit was due maybe like in January because the show was in February. I wound up paying my deposit. I think December 9th was on a Friday. And then I paid my next deposit like the week after, maybe like on the 11th or the 12th. So, so I call them. Well, before I get to I call them, I go to make the deposit because I'm thinking it's simple that you can just basically put the bank information in my bank app and just send it. Luckily, my husband was there because he was like, I don't think that's right. You should call the bank. Of course, I'm getting irritated because I'm just like, here you go, being you. Like, let me handle what I'm handling, right? Good thing he didn't let, he was being him because he's like, just call the bank. It don't hurt. So I call the bank and they're like, no, you can't do bank to bank transfer. You can do a wire transfer, and a wire transfer is $40. So now I'm getting frustrated because I'm just like, all right, this is already $300, and I gotta come out of pocket with wardrobe and stuff for the nail design, and now pay $40 for a transfer. Nah. So I call the number that's in the email and I talk to one of the founders. So now I'm actually talking to a person live. When I'm talking through email and I'm talking through Instagram, I have no idea who I'm talking to. So come to find out, there's two people running this show. But mind you, I'm thinking this is Cosmopolitan. So I'm thinking there's a team about 50 to 100 people. This is a big name. Why wouldn't I think that? But who am I to assume? So I finally speak to the founder and I'm like, I'm trying to make my deposit, but the bank says this and this and this. So she's like, well, I'm not sure. And she's like this country ass lady. So she's very country. And she's like, well, you can pay through PayPal. So, before I even got on the phone, I told her who I was. And she was like, oh, you're the lady from Canada. And I'm like, no, I'm not the lady from Canada. Da 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 is my reference, is the person who told me about this. Oh, I know her. Okay, cool. So, mind you, in email and Instagram, I didn't say like who referred me or whatever, whatever. I just pretty much was representing myself. So, this is the first time that I was able to say how I even found out about this. So, she was like, okay, cool. So, I'm just kind of like, all right, so who's who's controlling like the Instagram? Then why don't you kind of like have an idea? Like, not saying that I'm big stuff, you should know who I am, but it should kind of ring a bell, like, nails. So whatever. So I get the PayPal information and she's like, oh, you're gonna have to probably pay to send money. So I was like, oh, I use PayPal all the time. I've never paid to send money. I just send it, and then the person on the other end will decide if they want to get the money out earlier. They pay that fee. So I pay, I send the screenshot, I send it to whoever the hell I'm talking to on Instagram. They tell me they received. About a week later, I get some damn invoice for $4.79. Okay, sorry, I had to go pick up Jade and also deal with laundry. So about a week later, I get an invoice for $4.79. No one says anything to me via email, Instagram. So I'm like, oh, this is must be what they're talking about. They need to get the money out, so they have to pay a fee. $4.79. Cool, fine. I had just probably cashed out some survey money. So I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. When I pay my deposit, I know now to send a little extra money. But before I even sent the $4.79, there's another nail artist that is doing a presentation, and I wound up meeting her in August at a McCart event. So I know she has like a business. So I said, hey, you know, I put my deposit down, but they just sent me an invoice for $4.79. Is that legit? Like that this is kind of looking janky, because my husband was kind of like, yo, I don't know about this. This is seeming real janky. PayPal, like, so he's like, but you know what? I'm gonna just, let you do you, but did you do your research or whatever? So I'm like, yeah, I did my research, and they are connected to Cosmopolitan. They work for Cosmopolitan, so whatever, cool. So I reach out to her. I'm just like, hey, I'm just trying to figure this out. She's like, oh, this is definitely legit. Some business do charge you to take the money out, but because I'm like, I have bought something from a business through PayPal, and they didn't ask me for extra money. So she was like, yeah, some people probably calculate it in, but it's legit. So she was like, well, when I sent my money, I just sent a little extra. So I was like, okay, cool. This is still sounding very accurate. So I was like, all right, cool. Next time I'll send a little extra. So this is now December. So this is very early in December. So the person that referred me to this event is like, checking in. So I was just like, things just, are starting to seem a little hazy. Like stuff is really funny, but I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. So she's like, yeah, some stuff is looking real funny to me. I'm going through some shit on my end. So I'm like, oh, yeah, well, it's going to be good. I'm like, I'm keeping a positive mind. I'm like, all of this craziness is because it's going to be a good show. It's really going to be something for us. So I paid my final deposit December 11th or 12th. And I screenshot, I send it to the email, and I also send it to, basically, I write them on Instagram, like, hey, when someone from the team gets a chance, just check the email. I paid the final deposit. So they check it, and they're like, okay, you're paid in full. The next day, I get another invoice from PayPal, and it's for $155. So I'm like, wait a minute, what is this about? So I contact the person on Instagram. I'm like, hi, did I do something wrong? Because I just got an invoice for $155. Mind you, I never even brought up the invoice for the $4.79. So they're like, no, you're supposed to receive a receipt. Send a screenshot of what you got, of what you received. So I send it. They're like, no, you're paid in full. We have you down as paid in full. So I'm like, okay, I'm so excited. They're very excited. So this is before Christmas that this is paid for. So no one ever says when I'm supposed to get this model's information, because I was guaranteed a professional model. Also finding out, talking to the other nail artist, that she went to the casting call, so she was able to choose who she wanted. I didn't get to choose who I wanted. So fine, cool. So after Christmas, I'm like, okay, because I'm always the type of person, like, I don't know when to, like, ask for something, because I hate having bad timing. But I'm like, okay, I paid in full. Where's this person's information? So after Christmas, I'm like, hi, because these are custom press-on nails, when do you think I'll be able to receive the model's information? So they're like, oh, give us a few days. So I wound up getting, I think, her information the next day. But it was like, why do I need to wait a few days? Like, you guys should have been, to me, what makes sense to me, you guys should have been pinpointing who was going to go with who or whatever. So they give me the model's information, and I reach out to her, and I'm letting her know my theme, and I show her a picture for reference, and I'm asking her, do you have a white shirt, blue jeans, black boots? I show her like a picture of my boots. I'm like, they don't have to be the exact same, just something of this nature. And she's like, oh yeah, I got that. I'm like, do you have a leather jacket? Because I'm going for a leather jacket. She's like, I have to find it. And I was like, if you don't find it, it's cool because I have your sizes. I'll go to the store and pick that up. So after that day talking to her, the following day I get an email from them saying that they sent me the wrong model, that this model is walking for someone else. Mind you, when I did speak to the model, she says, oh, the other nail artist has my nail sizes. Why don't you just get them from her? So I said, I will ask her for them, but because I don't know what nail tip she used, we may not have the same thing. I want to get my own nail sizes for you. Sorry about that. So I'll send out a kit. So, like where are you going to be? Because either I can ship it or I can go through my husband's job to send it to you because if you're in New York. So, yeah, the next day I find out that I'm not even working with this girl. So now my brain is going haywire. I'm so paranoid. I always think somebody out to get me. I'm always like on triple high alert. So I'm like complaining to my husband. I'm like, what if she, I'm like, I don't think she would, but what if she do? Because, people act funny. Like, what if she tell somebody else what my theme is going to be? Like, then I got to start over. And I have everything. I know what I want. I just got to get it. So this part is about to end, and then I'm gonna release part 2. So yeah, they're like, we're so sorry, and then they give me someone else's information, and now they're like, well, you ladies have a month left to get everything together. And I'm like, well, I was trying to get everything together, but you guys kind of now delayed me even more. So mind you, when they're sending out these emails, it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm not about to email or text somebody 10 o'clock at night. So the new model that I have, she wanted responding. So I did text her and I'm like, hey, it's late. I don't have any idea of what you have going on. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to you tomorrow and let you know what's what and how I can get XYZ. So I get, her information and I ship out the sizing kit, and this is right before the year is ending. So everybody is getting, ready for the new year. They have plans or whatever. So I'm like, in about a week or so, I'll probably hit her up and ask her for those nail sizes. And sorry, excuse me. Before I can even, text her about it, she's like, hey, I didn't forget about you. I'll have it to you, this day. Or maybe I did ask her and she was like, oh, no worries. I got it for you. It's just she wasn't home or whatever. Mind you, I don't know this lady. I don't know what her lifestyle is like. So I'm just not trying to rush her, but it's just like I gotta start going. So throughout the whole process and till this day, we still communicate. When I found an update or I knew of something, I didn't hesitate to let her know. So I ordered the jacket and the jewelry on January 13th. Now, mind you, that is less than a month from the show. So I'm on pins and needles because I ordered it from Shein. So I think that stuff got here maybe January 25th. Thank the Lord, because I was so nervous that it wasn't gonna get here on time. So I showed her everything, and she's like really excited. She's really happy. So I know that they're supposed to be providing hair and makeup, but the look that I want is very natural. So I'm like, well, you're a model, so I don't know how to put that into terms. Like, I'm like, I don't know if you can go barefaced because there's going to be lights, it's going to be bright, and, you probably got to put something on your face to stop sweating. So she's like, oh, I'll show you, like, what it would look like. So, yeah, so before this video ends, January 12th, I wound up reaching out on Instagram to, their social media, like, I'm sorry. I wrote an email asking how long do we have to prepare backstage, because I have to put press on nails. She has to get dressed. She has to get hair and makeup done. So is there gonna, like, what's the time allotted? And what time do we have to be there for the call time? So, I'm a big procrastinator, so I'm just trying to stay on top of things. Also, this event is happening in New York. Where I live in New Jersey, I live 40 minutes away from the Poconos. I probably live about 20 minutes from Pennsylvania in general. But I live 40 minutes from the Poconos. So I'm coming from deep. So I need to plan accordingly. Not only do I need to plan accordingly to get there, but I have 4 kids that I have to account for to get in the car. Hey, Jay, and bring all my stuff. So, I'm trying to find this out because I got to know what time to leave, give myself time for traffic and all that stuff. So I sent the email and then I followed up on Instagram. I always send the email because I noticed that when I sent the email, it would take them like a few days to answer. So I would send the email. Like I sent the email today. Tomorrow, I'll follow up on Instagram like, hey, when someone from the team gets a chance, can they please check the email? Mind you, this is when I didn't know that there were just 2 people running this. Like, Jay, stop. So on the website, it shows the founders. So when I think founders, I just think you found this, you put it together, you hired a team. I don't know that it's really 2 of y'all running this. Like, y'all splitting all this work down the middle or whatever, or even not down the middle. But anyway, so, I write the person on Instagram and they're like, oh, we're going to send out a mass email to everybody, designers, models, blah, 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 about what's going to happen the day of the show. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, you know what? I was just trying to stay on top of things because I'm a big procrastinator. But, you got it. Yeah, I got it. So I asked that question the following week again because Saturday came by and then there was no information. So I asked on Wednesday just to check in. Come to find out this person is sick with the flu. So another Saturday goes by. Now this person is getting surgery. What the hell is going on? It's a month before showtime. We're down to like 3 weeks before showtime. I don't know what time I'm supposed to be there. You sick. You got surgery. What, like, come on. What's going on? Or where's the backup person? So, I'm like, all right, cool. So now let's skip to January 31st and I'll just leave at this and then we'll follow up in part 2 tomorrow. So January 31st, I'm like, hey, like what time we supposed to be there? Because I'm coming from damn near the Poconos. Like, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm know what I'm doing so I stay out of people's way. Because, the last fashion show, I kind of was in the way. My stuff was in the way. Nobody was rude, like, oh, get out my way. But, you just still feel like you in the way. Like, I don't want a repeat of that. I like to learn from my experiences. So January 31st, I send another message on Instagram to try to get this information. And finally, at February 1st at 1 o'clock in the damn morning is when we see the call sheet. So we finally get the call time sheet and all this. And we get like where we're going to be in the show. So I think I was 5th in the show. But on the call time, my name is spelt wrong. So stay tuned for part 2 tomorrow, y'all. Be good to you. Be good to others.